And the answer was Mantegna. The answer for the England team may be Thomas Tuchel, OK? He's from Krumbach in Germany, and he's been named as the new England boss. It seems as if the announcement was rolled out rapidly to take away attention from the defeat to Greece. So expected press conference this afternoon following months of speculation about who would replace Gareth Southgate. Lee Carsley had stepped in as interim manager, didn't do a very good job. Not everyone is pleased with Tuchel's appointment, though. So this is Mail being the Mail. It's actually brilliant. A dark day for England. That's about as negative as it gets today. The Mirror has, I think that's all right, isn't it? There's some great German puns here. The new Kaiser Chief. And The Sun, Fußball kommt nach Hause. It's interesting that they do now German headlines. Of course, it takes us a bit close to the famous ones in the 90s, which
This reminds me of going to watch Manchester United play at home at Old Trafford to Bayern Munich. About this time last year, well, actually it was in December, and United, my team, were losing 1-0, and the German fans in perfect English were singing "Football's Coming Home," and your swear word, "and you know you are," also in perfect English. Of course, it doesn't matter whether the England manager is English or not, by the way.
What do you think?
But meritocracy, football is a business, football is a game. You're a Chelsea fan, you know what Tuchel's done. He's got a track record, he's played the game, he's managed the clubs, and he's there because people believe he can. That's all you need to know. That is all. Oh, by the way, does he speak English? Oh, yes, he does.
He does. Yeah. But the issue is surely that if England were to win the World Cup with Tuchel as manager, then the Germans are going to start celebrating.
So? Great, they're celebrating that we won it.
Of course they're not going to
be giving them a World Cup.
They're not going to celebrate if we win, just to let you know.
Well, I'm sorry, but I mean, there's got to be a line.
It's more about us being, winning it, and the German led us to win it.
Someone from Iceland, Sweden, which has never gone anywhere near a World Cup, is fine, but the Germans are our arch enemies on the football field.
Listen, how far have we come since my childhood when the chant used to be 2 World Wars and 1 World Cup?
Not very far. I mean,
we will not be
for some football fans. I mean, I think that's a terrible chant, by the way.
A terrible chant.
But some football fans still sing it ridiculously.
If we win another World Cup, those same football fans will not care.
They don't care.
A penny.
What about when Sven?
Well, I tell you something. I have a little insight into this because I'm a Chelsea fan.
Yes.
He was our manager. He turned us around.
The players loved him
in a minute, and he won the Champions League. Why on earth Chelsea sacked him? I mean, there's a number of things going on. So we had a situation where we were owned by Abramovich and they took sanctions on Abramovich. And as a result, you couldn't even buy a beer at half-time. That's how crazy it was. You couldn't buy a programme. They couldn't sell tickets, so only season ticket holders could go. It was the most surreal thing. At the same time, Tuchel, well advertised, was going through a divorce. So he was unsettled. The club was unsettled. The results just stopped coming his way and they got rid of him. And I do not know why they got rid of him.
They got rid of him within about a couple of months of Kai Havertz scoring the winning goal in the Champions League final. Yep. I thought it was absolutely mind-boggling. However, as an England fan, my only concern would be this. He didn't last very long at Chelsea. And there were rumours, I think, of players not being wildly happy with him. Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
Well, and he didn't last. To me, that speaks well of him. I mean, I don't want the players to be happy with the manager.
Well, I don't think you can win if there isn't a good relationship. Whatever that relationship is.
Bring back the hairdryer.
However didactic it is, you need to have. They've got to play for their manager. And the other worry is that he didn't last very long at Bayern Munich either.
Yeah, but these geniuses are, they do 3 great paintings.
I think it's a short-term appointment looking at the World Cup. If we do well in the World Cup, then we'll see. Because the World Cup is under 2 years away.
What do you think of all that?
Listen, I'm not a huge football pundit or anything, but I'm just thinking, from just a business point of view and a leadership point of view, the man's got all the credentials, give him a chance. I don't care if he's got a tail, 6 heads, and his tongue's blue and he's got green spots on. If he can get England to win the World Cup, give the guy a chance.
You would put the Cray twins in to manage them.
Oh, stop.
No, but I mean, where do you draw the line?
How can you compare Thomas Tuchel, who brought you the Champions League, to the Cray twins? And by the way, you're a bit unfair on Lee Carsley. You said he didn't do very well. He's won 3 of his 4 games.
I know a lot of Chelsea fans that love Tuchel, thought they was absolutely brilliant.
Well, I think maybe keep Lee Carsley there then if he's that good. I mean, losing to Greece was an absolutely shocking thing. And also the game against Finland was so bad I fell asleep during it. Tony in Cornwall, hi.
Oh, yeah, how are you doing?
We never talk football. Suddenly we've been unleashed here to talk football. What do you think of Tuchel as manager?
Listen, I think it's an absolutely terrible decision.
Oh.
I think it's got to be an Englishman or woman, because they're gonna. It's just a job to a German chap, isn't it? I would have thought it's just a job to him. And I've got a feeling there's people up the FA. If they could get round the rules and have 11 German players and win the World Cup, they would do that.
Well, you're right about that, I'm sure.
I mean, they've totally lost the plot about what it's all about, you know.
Well, I think no. In fairness, come on, there's no way in the world they would field 11 German players, although that's kind of hilarious. But we worked out with Sven, God rest him, that people are comfortable with a manager as long as he's focused on the football.
Well, perhaps certain people are, but I think you'd find that there's a lot of people. I mean, what's your national team all about? I mean, it's about being English, I suppose, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
I mean, I didn't agree with Sven. Mr. Capello, he was a disaster for England, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to learn English when he took the job, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with not speaking English. But I mean, it's got to be an Englishman. You got Eddie Howe. Why didn't he try and get him, or at least try and get an Englishman, you know?
Tony, I was at Lord's when we won the World Cup, the Cricket World Cup, for the first time in 2019, and I would honestly say that is one of the happiest days of my entire life. I think it's the only time I've allowed myself to shed a tear during a sports game, and we were managed at the time by Trevor Bayliss, who's an Australian. Did I consider for a single second that day his nationality, the nationality of the manager, who obviously doesn't take the field? Not for a moment.
Right. Okay.
I just was delighted.
I would have done.
Women's England football team is not managed by a British
Exactly.
woman, is it?
No.
At all.
On the Euros,
It's not about it being another nationality. That's separate. This is about it being a German.
Well, we've just got to get over this.
We've got to get over that
We've just got to
thing.
get over the history
Yeah.
and just use our common sense.
Would you accept a German Prime Minister, for example?
Come on. But just to suggest that just because he's German and he's managing the team, he would not give it 100%. That is really, really, I think,
Oh, no, it's not.
disingenuous.
Listen, we're going to win the World Cup. He's so good, we're going to win the World Cup. It's going to make it even worse.
This is a football.
This is a football
man.
That.
This is a football man, and pride and getting results.
Oh God, he's
is
amazing.
What's in his head. So
he's
he
amazing.
will want that England team to win.
He's amazing. I suspect for the people above him, he's probably difficult to manage, as you've suggested. And certainly when I've spoken to Chelsea people, I said, why did we get rid of him? He was the best. Yeah. They said, well, there were reasons. They do. There were reasons. As if there's something I don't know. After the break, more of your calls on whether the England manager should always be English, or rather, should the England manager always be English? Let's just take a look at the history since England. I was about to say since we won the World Cup, but I should say since England won the World Cup, because obviously we're going out, you may be watching in Scotland or Wales, Northern Ireland. So there we are. Let's have a look here. Alf Ramsey, 1966. Wow! Woo! Wow! Woo! Then we don't, let's say,
goes
progress.
a bit downhill after that.
Don Revie, Greenwood, Bobby Robson, got us to a World Cup semi-final in 1990, Gaza and all that. Then we lost to Thomas Tuchel's country, right? Well, West Germany. Graham Taylor, Venables, bless him, semis of the Euros in 96, probably the best tournament we've been in ever in my life, because I was one. Actually, do you know what? I was one then. So I can claim that. But it's not we, is it? It's England. Right, Venables. Hoddle. We liked...
Good manager.
I thought he was a good manager. He did some weird stuff in a previous life. Kevin Keegan, Sven, R.I.P., McLaren, known as the Wally with the Brolly, Fabio Capello, Italian, hard man, not very good, Roy Hodgson, 2016-ish, 27% of his games won. No, sorry, Roy. Sam Allardyce managed for one game. Then we got Southgate. Now, he's interesting. On the upside, he reached 2 finals with England in the Euros and World Cup. On the downside, he lost both. That's unforgivable. And also, the team was so dull.
Oh,
no, they were awful.
Sorry,
it was
nonsense.
How can a guy take Cole Palmer out and not play him?
Yeah, Palmer. He just got it wrong on Palmer.
Look at this, how animated he got.
Cole Palmer has been playing under Lee Carsley.
Okay,
How's that gone?
All right, pipe down. Pete in Lincolnshire, hi.
Hello there, Jeremy.
Right, go on, tell us. Is Tuchel the natural guy at the end of the line here?
I can't see the problem.
Woo!
Simple reason being, can you name the last English manager of an English club that won a trophy? Simple.
Wait a
It's
second.
been
Did
Bobby
Eddie Howe
Robson.
win?
You've got...
Did Eddie Howe win the Carabao Cup for Newcastle?
No.
No.
Well, how far back are you going to go? Between now and going back to to Sir Alf Ramsey, you might be lucky if you've got 5.
No, fair
Whether
enough.
it's FA Cup, European Cup, anything. And the players all play for foreign managers, so why shouldn't they play for a foreign manager for the country?
What would you have accepted, let's say 15 years ago, England being managed by Alex Ferguson, who's Scottish?
Yes, please.
Well, I can't remember yesterday, let alone 15 years ago.
All right, Pete, thank you. Thank you. Let's speak to the former England player, Danny Mills. Danny, I know you played for, let me think, Sven. Of course you did. And of course then, so you played for a foreign manager, Danny. So tell us about it.
Played with plenty of foreign managers. Played with Steve McClaren as well. Played for Kevin Keegan as well in that group. Obviously worked alongside and played with Gareth Southgate. In an ideal world, yes, we would love the England team to be managed by an Englishman. You know, that most other countries, especially the most big nations around the world, do that. Spain, Argentina, Brazil, rarely, if ever, step outside their country to find a manager. The problem that we have is there isn't an outstanding English candidate available at the moment. And that's a big, big problem. So they've gone down the route of looking for what the FA see as the next best man to take charge, who's available, who wants the job. And that's Thomas Tuchel. I don't have an issue with it. Like I said, in an ideal world, yes, we'd love an Englishman. But it's not an ideal world that we live in anymore, unfortunately. So he's a great manager. He's a great coach. He's a winner. I think there are issues around the length of the contract, which is very, very strange. The fact that it's only 18 months. It seems like it's win the World Cup where you're out. So there's a lot of pressure that comes with that. And also, I don't know why he's starting in January and he's not starting today or tomorrow. And you've got 2 games in November coming up.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. So you don't go with the Mail have been the most negative here, saying it's a dark day for England.
Nice.
You don't go with that, Danny?
No, I don't. I think it's maybe a slight indictment that the FA haven't produced as many top coaches as we would like. So the pool to pick from isn't very big. You know, you're looking at Graham Potter, who's out of work at the moment. Didn't quite work out for him at Chelsea in his first, what you'd say, real big job. Eddie Howe has a job at Newcastle and obviously wants to stay there at the moment. Who else is there out there? You know, there aren't too many candidates that can put their hands up and say, I have the credentials to manage England.
Did you say
Get John Terry in. Come on.
Terry?
Who's never managed in his life. So, no, not a great idea.
Oh, so you're joking. God, we got no ability to handle sarcasm here.
You've just heard there, you know, Lee Carsley's had a goal, has played Cole Palmer, who's been terrible in the last 2 games that he's played. So, you know, it's difficult. You know, it's not easy to manage England. The expectations are incredibly high. We have an arrogance that we just turn up and win the World Cup. I'm pretty sure Argentina, Spain, Brazil, Germany, Italy even, you know, will also be thinking, oh, we can win the next World Cup as well. I think we always forget that there's opposition in our way that try to stop us. There will be some small-minded people, Jeremy, that jump on the bandwagon very, very quickly if he doesn't win every game 4 or 5-0 and doesn't play the most attractive football. We know that. But unfortunately in football, you're never going to stop those people.
Thank you so much, Danny. Take care, my friend. Here's the other bit of the mail here I just want to hold up for you. Our manager should be English, a patriot for whom it is always... Where's which camera here? There, number 4? There you go. Our manager should be English, a patriot for whom it is always England first, second and third.
Oh.
Wow, you can hear the trumpets.
It's incredible, isn't it?
You can hear the drums, Fernando.
I have to say, for Tuchel to take that job on, I mean, it's a really big personal risk. Because if he wins, brilliant, we love him. And if he doesn't, all the history, all this stuff's going to come out.
There's nothing left but your teeth.
It's a big pressure job.
No, I was just interested to know from Danny or anyone who's played under a foreign coach like Sven, did they lose anything by that coach not being able to say, bride in the shirt, we're English, we go for it? You know, you can imagine coaches from other countries doing that. as a professional, do you need that, or are you so professional it just goes out the window?
Well, they all play
at that
for
level?
foreign managers in the, yeah. I mean, it's you know, they're obviously going to get the best out of the players. It's more of a symbolic problem. Mick in County Durham, are you worried by the symbolism of England being run by a German?
Not in the slightest, to be fair. Yeah, I think it was mentioned earlier on about Serena Wiegman winning the European Championships for the ladies. I mean, was anyone complaining then?
Exactly.
No, you're right. Wait a minute, which is her home country? Is she German? Oh, Swiss.
No, Dutch.
Swiss.
She's Dutch.
Dutch.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
sorry. I'm so sorry. I should know
yeah,
that. Mick, no, good point. It's just maybe you don't get headlines like that in the women's game. That's the difference. So people have gone full blaze on it.
Well, well, reading the mail out in the first place is probably the biggest mistake. To be honest, it's I know it's just why, you know, you've just spoke to Danny Mills there. You know, you're speaking to a professional who's played under foreign managers in the past, and you know, I just don't see what the point is now anymore. Because if you look at the African countries, every African country is managed by a European manager now. So you've got. It's just it doesn't have to be English. It shouldn't have to be English. It should be the best person for the job, and that could be man or woman.
I'll predict something to you. If we get anywhere near the World Cup final, if we win the World Cup, I tell you the male headline will be "Arise, Sir Tom."
Yeah. Why don't you keep that headline now,
Shall
and
we
then keep it,
I'll keep it in my dressing room.
See what happens.
Yeah. Okay, good. So thank you, Mick, very much. Phil in East Yorkshire, do you have a problem with Mr. Tuchel?
100%. It's got to be through and through an Englishman because it brings German credentials with him. Somebody talked about African countries. Now, the problem is African countries are not developed as the Western countries, and each Western country has its own national indigenous manager. Now, if England won under this guy, then is it going to be half England, half German? No, we want it to be full and full. Bring the cup home with a full English manager, with a full team, English team. And
forgive me for asking a personal question. What is your accent? It's a really unusual accent.
Yes, well, very unusual. Yes, because originally, you know, I'm from a West African country.
Oh well, there we go. Which one then? Sierra Leone or Nigeria or?
No, Ghana.
Ghana.
I'm naturalized here.
Right. So I only ask that because we can shift. You know, it doesn't matter where we were born. We can shift and decide we support England, we manage England. You know, you could have a German managing England on the basis that you can come from Ghana and be fully British, can't you?
Yeah, but this guy's not British, is he?
No, but he could.
It's not nationalized. This manager is not pure English.
No.
It's not naturalised.
No, okay, he's not naturalised. There we are, so. Mind blown.
It's mind blowing that somebody's saying that. But if we do not have a good enough person that is English, do we just put somebody rubbish in there because it's English and we just not let a fantastic manager who's got all the credentials, who's got the potential, and we bring him in?
Phil says he's not naturalised.
Who cares? He's got...
Not naturalised, he said.
What does that mean?
OK, thank you for your calls on this. We're going to move on now.